Hello everyone. In this video, we'll take a look at inheritance in Java. So we have a parent class or the more general class that is vehicle. Vehicle can be any vehicle. Okay. So the data member that we have in the vehicle class is the string type, and we have the method that is start engine because every vehicle will have an engine. Okay. And we also have a constructor which takes a single parameter that is type, and it initializes the type data member. Okay. And throughout this program, what we are doing is within every constructor and within every method, we are just printing a string just to get an idea as to when that particular string is called. The implementation detail, actual implementation details are not included in this program because that will be depending on the mechanics of the particular vehicle. Okay. So right now you have a vehicle class, which is a generic class, and then that class is made more specific by creating a class called as car. So class car extends vehicle. That means, okay, so firstly note that the keyword is extends. Extends keyword is used for inheritance. So class car extends vehicle. Okay. Now here you have the car constructor. Now there is something important to notice here. The parent class or the super class that is vehicle does not have any constructor which is zero parameter. Parent class does not have zero parameter constructor, whereas the child class has a zero parameter constructor. In general, the concept is if your parent class or the super class has a default constructor or a constructor without any parameters, then you don't have to worry about anything basically. But if your parent class has a constructor with one parameters or two parameters, basically, if your parent class has a parameterized constructor, then in that case, your child class has to explicitly call it using the super keyword. Now, what does super keyword mean? Super, because as I said while saying the terminology, parent class is also called as superclass, and the child class is also called as the subclass. So from the child class or the subclass, we are calling the superclass constructor. So therefore, we are using the super keyword to indicate that we are calling the superclass constructor. So just like we are, using any constructor, we simply pass whatever parameters we want inside the brackets. So super, and in brackets we pass the string car. Now this will automatically invoke the parameterized constructor of the vehicle class, and uh, it will execute this dot type equal to car. So the data member will contain the value car. Okay, we'll store the value car. Okay, and when we'll finally execute this code, you'll also see the sequence in which the constructors are called. Okay. So superclass constructor is called here, and then it also prints the message car constructor called. Now the car class by default has the data members and the member functions or methods from the parent class. So although we have not explicitly written over here, the class car automatically, because of the extends keyword, it gets the data member string type, and it gets the method void start engine. Okay, and it has its own unique method called as void drive. You drive a car. Okay, so it has the method drive. Okay, now that makes sense. That's why we have to initialize the data member car using the super keyword. Okay, so that the data member of any object of the car class that we'll create, that data member, that is the type, will have the value car. Okay, now this is the example of single inheritance, single parent class vehicle and a single child class called car. Now let's move to multi-level inheritance. To be more specific, we can have a sports car, extends car. So even car is a bit generic. We can have different types of cars. We can have an SUV, we can have a sedan, we can have different types of cars. So here we have a sports car, which is a specific type of car. So as you move from parent class to child class to grandchild class, we see that it gets more specific from vehicle to car to sports car. Okay, so class sports car extends car, and again, sports car will have whatever data members and member functions or methods which are present in the car class. So because car class inherited the type data member from vehicle, the type data member will be present in sports car as well. And because car class inherited start engine from the from the vehicle class, the start engine method will also be present in the sports car. Sports car also inherits the drive method which is present in the car class, and in addition to it, it has a specific method called boost. Okay, now notice that because the parent class of sports car, which is car, because car class has a no parameter constructor, you need not explicitly call the super constructor from the sports car. By default, when we'll execute or when we'll create an object of sports car, by default the car constructor will be called, okay, without us explicitly mentioning the super call inside the sports car constructor. And by default, now here in car we are explicitly calling the vehicle class constructor using super keyword, but from sports car to car, as you can see, it is implicitly called, or by default it is called. Okay, now let's take a look at it diagrammatically, how this looks like. Okay, so this is multi-level inheritance. So vehicle, car, and sports car, parent, child, grandchild. Or you can read it like this: sports car is a car is a vehicle. Okay, now let's move on to hierarchical inheritance. Apart from cars, we can also have bikes and trucks, which are also vehicles. Okay, now again, the same thing over here, because vehicle has a single parameter constructor, bike and truck constructors have to explicitly call the super class, that is the vehicle constructor, using the super call or super constructor call. Okay, then bike specifically has the member function or method called as ride, and truck explicitly has a member function or method called as haul. Okay, um, apart from this, whatever the data members and member functions of the vehicle class are also present in the bike class and truck class. So the data member string type from the vehicle class is present in both bike as well as truck, and the member function or method start engine. Okay, start engine is also present in the bike class and the truck class. Now, if you want to show this diagrammatically, it will look something like this. So you have bike and you have truck, and you can say that bike, truck, and car, they are all siblings. Okay, siblings do not share anything except what they inherit from the parent class separately. Okay, so the only commonality or what is common between bike, car, and truck is that all of them are the children of the vehicle class. So all of them will have the type data attribute, and all of them will have the start engine method in common. Okay, now let's go to our main class, main method. So in main method, what we are doing is to demonstrate single inheritance. First, we'll create the car object, and although car class does not explicitly have the start engine method, we can still call the start engine method, and we can call the drive method obviously, which is present in the car class itself, its own method. Then demonstrating multi-level inheritance will create an object of the sports car. So sports car, although it does not have start engine and drive written inside its pair of curly brackets, right? So inside the pair of curly brackets of the sports car, okay, you only have the constructor of the sports car and you have its method called boost. But still, when you create an object of the sports car, it automatically inherits start engine and drive. Start engine from the vehicle class, drive from the car class, so you can call those methods without any error. And when you'll create this object, then you will see in which sequence the constructors are called. So those messages will also be displayed because we have those messages in the constructors. And then to demonstrate hierarchical inheritance, we'll create the objects of the bike class and truck class, and we'll call the start engine, which is there in the bike and truck class due to the inheritance from the vehicle class. And we'll also call that specific or unique methods called ride and hop. Okay, so let's run this code. So as you can see, first the vehicle constructor is called for car, so type is car. Car constructor is called, engine started. So this is the order. So first the parent class constructor is called, then the child class constructor is called, then we have the engine started for car due to the start engine method, and then because of the drive method we have car is being driven. Then for the sports car, these are the messages printed for the sports car. Okay, so in sports car, when we create the sports car object, the grandparent constructor, that is the vehicle constructor, is called, and the type is car because the car constructor passed that. Okay, so then the car constructor uh, is called. Okay, so you can think of it like this: sports car, when you create the object of sports car, it explicitly calls its parent called car, and when the car constructor is executed, it calls its parent called vehicle. But the order in which the calls get ultimately executed is the the super class, that is the grandparent class. It gets invoked and prints its string, then the parent class prints its string, and then the class constructor itself prints its string. Then this is because of the start engine method from the car class, this is because of the drive method from the car class, and this is because of the boost method from the sports car class. Then for the bike method, we have the parent class constructor, that is the vehicle constructor is called, and the type, which is bike, is printed. Then the bike constructor itself is called. Then the engine started for bike, and bike has been ridden because of the ride method from the bike class. Similarly, for the truck class, first the parent class constructor, then its own constructor. Then because of the start engine method from the vehicle class, which is inherited in truck, we get engine started for truck, and then the truck is hauling is because of the haul method from the truck class. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, any doubts, do post them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.